Hi, Ross. Can you tell me about what brought you into treatment and what the last few weeks in rehab were like for you?
Yeah. Um, I've been out now for about a week and a half, and it's just honestly, it's been kind of rough. Um, you know, I moved back in with my mom since I was, in the residential program before. And I've just been feeling a lot of cravings recently. My mom still has tons of alcohol in the house, and she smokes weed. And me trying to be in this environment's really testing my coping skills, and it's just weird being back home again and trying to figure out my life, honestly.
Um, what are the biggest changes you've noticed in yourself since leaving rehab, whether it's physically, emotionally, or in your thinking?
Well, when I got out, I was, really excited, to live my life sober, like we talked about, and I've been wanting to start my own mechanic shop and open that up and whatnot. But just, the reality of being back around my mom that, doesn't really care and, my friends and things of that nature, it's just kind of been hard. I feel like I need to break out of it, and I've just been feeling, pretty down. Haven't been sleeping much and whatnot.
What situations or feelings have been the most triggering for you since stepping down to outpatient?
Yeah. Um, well, really just, kind of, I feel like I'm just looking uphill, right? I mean, there's so much to do, so I've just been feeling overwhelmed and not really knowing where to start. I know you and I talked about putting together a plan, um, so I'd like to, kind of start doing that.
What supports do you have in place right now, and are there areas where you feel you need a little bit more help?
Um, well, yeah, it's tough. Like my brother's a pastor, so maybe I can call him. And I've been trying to find a sponsor, kind of like what we talked about. So that's been, you know, it's been a little struggle. I don't know if you could help me with some of that.
I'm sure we can come up with a plan there. But tell me, so what are your goals for your recovery and mental health in the next 30 days, and what would success look like for you?
Yeah. Well, one, just staying sober, of course. And I just don't want to feel like this anymore. Um, so that's been important. Um, and starting my shop, if I can. I got a little bit of money, but I need a little bit more. So yeah, that'd be great. What are some other kind of coping mechanisms, I guess, I could work on? I think we talked about journaling, but what else?
Yeah. Well, looks like we're near the end of our session here, but these are all things that we'll pick up when we meet next Wednesday. And in the meantime, keep reaching out to your pastor, your family there for support, and we will meet again next week. Thanks, Ross.
Okay, great. So
Okay.
yeah, is it still going? There we go.
So we're just going to get a little confirmation screen here. And I'm just going to click this button to have the system start doing its thing, right? And so this is Clinical Scribe taking the input from the session we just had and then using all of those other chart aware features that it has to know about Ross and his demographics and his history and his treatment plan goals and objectives, along with the session we just had. And then it's going to look at the template that you have designed. It's going to consider the prompts that you have given the template, and it's going to fill things out for you. Okay. And so here we see the results of the AI personal assistant doing its job here. All right. It indicates that just the patient was present. There was no one else. So it can make selections from these kinds of lists. And then based on the template that we've designed and the prompts that we have given it, the system has gone through and filled out the information. Okay. And it's filled out where it can. And there's other places where, we didn't discuss rating scales in the session, so it would leave it blank or put an NA depending on how we had defined the template. And
Yep.
you'll see it goes through into mental status and it picked up its best interpretation of the session. It used direct quotes from the client and the session, again, because that's what we had when we talked to the AI and built this. Originally, this is what we told it to do. So you'll see it went through and it filled out any parts of the document that we had suggested it fill out based on the design we've put together. And then we can see here, when we're talking about it being chart aware, here are some of the types of information that the system is aware of, even though we didn't talk about it just here. We didn't cover it in the session. Now,
And I'll give you a second to read some of that as well. If you look at the assessment in there and then you look at the plan, you can kind of see here that it picked up, um, you know, it's looking for barriers to treatment there too, right? So while he demonstrates insight into his condition, has articulated clear recovery goals, environmental triggers remain significant barriers to maintaining sobriety and emotional stability. So I just talked about the environment, right, that I was in. The AI is using that reasoning because it understands that, in the note, you need to show a lack of progress as well. What are the barriers to treatment? So it's using that to put in here.